Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. The new exotic quest mission known as The Other Side that launches from the Tribute Hall and eventually awards you with bad Juju has a special triumph that you can complete, and in order to do it you must solo this entire mission from beginning to end and do it flawlessly, meaning with no deaths. Now Shattered Throne had similar triumphs, but with Shattered Throne when you soloed it, you got a really cool emblem to show off. With this, you don't get any kind of emblems or anything like that. You literally just get 200 triumph score. But I would still recommend you do this because it is a fun and very doable PvE challenge. So let's talk about your loadouts. Now I chose to run this on my Warlock using Well of Radiance. If you have a Warlock that is high enough level, I would recommend you do the same because Well of Radiance just makes PvE stuff so much easier. If you don't have a Warlock for Titans, I would recommend running Middle Tree Sentinel. The Void Detonators will come in handy later on in this mission. And for all you hunters, I'm going to say that Tether with Orpheus Rig is probably your best bet. For weapons, I could have used things like Mountaintop and 1K Voices, but I really wanted to use a loadout that I feel like would be more accessible to people that needed to watch a guide on how to do this stuff. So I'm using a Rampage Outlaw, go figure, a Borealis Sniper Rifle, and for my power weapon I am using a Bellowing Giant, which comes from the Scourge of the Past raid, but the role that I have is the curated role, and it is virtually identical to the curated Bad Omens that you can get from the Drifter once you rank up and reset your infamy. And as far as armor perks goes, I didn't put any raid mods on my armor at all, so no Taken Barrier, no Taken Armaments, anything like that. But if you do have those, I would recommend throwing them on. The only reason I didn't want to do it is because, like I said, I wanted to have a very accessible loadout that you guys could replicate if you wanted to. So on to the actual mission. Sprint into this first room and you will see a Shrieker spawn up top. You will see a lot of Shriekers throughout this mission, and you need to prioritize them immediately. As soon as you see them, before they even open, memorize where they are and take them out because they will just absolutely melt you. Once you have the Shrieker down in this first room, then it's just a matter of killing the Knight, which isn't that bad. You can always back up in here in this doorway if you need to. His fire will reach you all the way back here, but it's easy enough to be avoided, as you can see. Once the Knight is dead, it's just a matter of cleaning up the Taken Thrall and all the little Taken Acolytes and progressing to the next section. After dropping down the hole, you will see that you have to go ahead and traverse this big Cleaver Dude statue. Once you get to the end of the Cleavers, this Taken Phalanx will spawn here. Just hit him with a grenade, otherwise he will boop you off. Remember, we're trying to do this flawlessly, so if he boops you off and you die, it's time to start over. You gotta go to orbit and come back in. Borealis actually worked very well for this because of its ability to swap elements. You will find Arc, Solar, and Void shields throughout the entirety of this mission. So for the Centurions, for example, really convenient. There's also going to be a Taken Knight coming up that's Solar. You can just swap on the fly, really convenient. For this section right here, what I like to do is I go ahead and jump down to trigger all the spawns, and then I just turn around and go right back up here. Now, I do this just to be safe. There's a couple of Taken Phalanx that spawn right there blocking that little doorway. They will boop you off. There's all these snipers everywhere, and there's also a Taken Wizard back in the back that constantly spawns Shadow Thrall that try to run after you and kill you. So by jumping up here, it just takes all of that nonsense away, and I could just take my time, pick these guys off one by one. Nice and relaxing, you know, I don't have to stress about anything. They can't get to me, they can't hurt me, everything's golden. Once you have all those enemies cleaned up, then it's time to move on to this section. Now the only thing that I want to point out here is that these little bombs or mines or whatever you want to call them, you can shoot them from a distance and destroy them. Aside from that, you want to play distance. So you can see me taking out the Phalanx and the Sniper before I jump over to that platform. Then I come to this platform and stay up here. I go ahead and drop my Well if you're a Titan. Use your Sentinel Shield if you are a Hunter. This would be a good time to throw your Tether down there on the bottom to tether all those enemies. You want to prioritize the Shrieker and the Minotaur. Those are the two ones that will kill you the fastest. So once you get those taken care of, you just go ahead and progress. After a little bit of jumping, you will be met with a guy that has a solar shield, so go ahead and get your Borealis ready. He spawns right back there in the back, and then he sends a bunch of Taken Thrall after you. Just take out the little captain back there, take out the Thrall, you're good to go. So you're almost done, but now it's time for your first real challenge. This is the Ogre room. The Ogre room has 4 blights in it. You need to take out the 4 blights in order for the Ogre to spawn. But before you do any of that, hop up here where I am. Just right as you go inside the door, make a right. There's 2 Shriekers that are going to be right above you. And again, Shriekers will absolutely melt you. It is insane how fast these Shriekers kill you. So by hopping up here, you can put your back up against this wall so that the Shrieker on the right doesn't get you, and it gives you time to take out the Shrieker on the left. Then once you get your health back, come over here. If you have a rift, you're probably going to need to use it. But yeah, just take out both of these Shriekers right here by the doorway when you come in, because they are literally the worst. They are just so bad. Now once those 2 Shriekers are down, we are going to make a weapon swap. You're going to equip Thorn if you have it, hopefully you do, and Loaded Question. You're going to keep your power weapon the same throughout the entire duration of this. But you are going to equip Thorn because once you get Mark of the Devourer, you can easily obtain that buff by killing one of the dogs. Thorn will 9-shot these stupid blights without you actually having to go inside them. This makes this whole part a lot easier. Now keep in mind, once you have destroyed 2 of the blights, it is going to spawn 4 invisible Minotaurs. Now, if you don't have Thorn and you can't take easy street on these blights, then I would recommend just popping on something like a shotgun, maybe even switching to something like a heavy machine gun, because like I said, you are still going to have to deal with these Minotaurs. So if you're running around wasting all of your special taking out the blights, and then you don't have any special or heavy left for these Minotaurs, then you're kind of SOL. Now, these Minotaurs, or any invisible enemy for that matter, is really hard to see for me because I'm actually blind in both eyes. So these invisible enemies give me a really, really hard time. Now, that being said, I like to hang out right here where you first come in. You know, that way we have the 2 rocks on the left and the right to jump up on. The one on the right being the one that we destroyed the 2 Shriekers with, and the one on the left being the one that you just saw me on. You can also run over here in the middle if you need to, and just kind of play ring around the rosy with these guys so that you can sneak up behind them. The main thing that you want to remember here is don't try to get up close to them because they will hurt you. These are some pretty powerful enemies. And just keep moving. Don't stand in one spot for too long, and you can farm these dogs after you kill them if you need to get some ammo back. You have 2 more blights to destroy. Once those 2 blights are done, it is time to kill an ogre and a couple of wizards. Now, I like to finish with this blight over here. If you walk in the room and immediately take a right, this is the bottom right-hand corner. The reason I like to finish with this one is because it allows me to get in a good position for the ogre and the wizards really quickly, because as soon as that blight is destroyed, that's when you will start hearing these enemies spawn. Now, what I did was I went ahead and jumped right back up here on these rocks where we were doing these Shriekers when we first came in the room. You can look off to the left, you can look off to the right. You're going to find the ogre eventually. Don't worry about the wizards right now. They won't mess with you up here. So the ogre is your only real enemy to worry about at this moment. So what I did was I went ahead and threw down my well and just poked in and out and shot him with rockets, because why not? Hopefully you have been saving your heavy ammo for this moment. This is your first of 2 bosses that you will need to kill. If you are out of heavy and you are out of special, I would recommend swapping to something like Polaris Lance. That is a safe boss weapon. Outbreak Prime also going to be a safe boss weapon to use in here. Something that you can use from a distance and not really have to worry about ammo because, you know, it's a primary. But yeah, once the ogre's dead, then you just want to hop down and run around to the left. If you go around to the right, where the ogre died, there is a Shrieker over there that you can wake up, and remember, Shriekers suck. So if you come around here to the left, you can hang out behind this rock right here by the door that you will eventually be leaving, and this Shrieker doesn't bother you. So you can just kill the remaining wizards and go on about your business. So now we are at the final encounter, and don't choke now, man. You're at the end. I did do one more weapon swap. I still have the same power weapon, which is my rocket launcher for cluster bombs and tracking, but I did swap to Bad Juju as my kinetic, and for my energy weapon, I put on a Tatara's Gaze sniper rifle. Any sniper rifle will work here. Tatara's Gaze does arc damage, not that that matters. Honestly, if anything, you'd want a Void sniper if you really wanted to match the elements, because there is a Void wizard that has a Void shield. But the reason that I put on Bad Juju is because there is an absolute ton of small little rank and file enemies like these Thrall in this mission. and they will overrun you, man. Like, it's no joke. Once the boss is out, they're all over the place. Now, if for some reason you don't have bad juju, number one, why are you trying to do this solo and flawless without ever actually beating it? I would definitely recommend beating it some other way and then coming back for the solo flawless, just so you can kind of have an idea of the flow of the fight. But nonetheless, if for whatever reason you don't have a bad juju, Outbreak Perfected would work here. Even something like a Go Figure if you had Outlaw on it and can reload really quickly. Because I'm not joking when I say that these little take and thrall and everything are everywhere. That is honestly the most challenging part of this fight, is just that there's so many enemies that you need to take care of. So having something that will reload very, very quickly, or in the case of bad juju, not at all, very, very valuable. But the basic premise behind this fight is you just keep working your way up the stairs. You keep killing everything. It's going to spawn a total of, I believe, 4 waves of enemies. The 4th wave will have a boss, a couple of phalanxes, some centurions, and a ton of take and thrall. So just keep working your way up the stairs as you're taking out these enemies. So when it gets time for the second to last and then the last wave of enemies, I like to be up here at the top of the stairs. The reason I like it up here is because I can see everything. The enemies have a direct line of path to me, and I can just pick them off as they're running up the steps. It's super, super convenient. Another reason I like to be up here is because there are shriekers on the left and the right, and if you are too far down or if you are too far on the sides, those shriekers will target you and absolutely ruin your day. It would be awful to wipe right here, you know what I'm saying? If you have the well, now's the time to do it. Get empowered, even though it's going to be gone before these enemies spawn. If you are a Sentinel Titan, if you have something like Doomfang, you can probably take out all these enemies before your super runs out, including the boss. Or if you are the Hunter, this would be the time to go ahead and throw down that tether. You want to prioritize the 2 phalanxes and then start working on the adds. Don't even worry about the boss yet. The boss is the easy part, trust me. You want to go ahead and get these adds under control. If they do start to overrun you, or when your well runs out like mine did, then you can just move directly over here to the left, and there is a little corridor that you can go in. The shriekers won't bother you here, and the boss should be right there because he was trying to get up the stairs whenever you're going up there. Altogether, this is a really good strategy, just starting up top, letting the boss walk towards you a little bit, and then coming over here to the side and pumping rockets into them. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's the fight. That's the mission. Once the boss dies, it doesn't matter if the rest of the little adds are still out there. When the boss dies, you beat the mission. So hopefully you guys found this helpful, and if you did, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe, and if you are already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.